Okay, welcome to another episode of the Rugby League Outsiders podcast. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl.
And this week we've got a great guest from the Oxford Cavaliers coach and secretary, Jamie Jones. And we're going to dive into his journey into rugby league and also talk more about the Oxford Cavaliers. And we've got 6 breaking news stories from around the region and the wider game, including the first Masters charity match held at Telford, and also a really successful junior festival led by Sherwood Wolfen and more. So let's get into it.
Okay, tackle one then. Lincolnshire Lions took the spoils this week in a win over Boston Buccaneers, 46 points to 26, which is the Midlands' newest derby. So it's the Battle of Lincolnshire, we should call it. I think there's a lot of derby games this year. And somebody actually commented on Facebook, I don't know if you've seen it, that we should have a Midlands Magic weekend.
Our rivals round.
Right, yeah, for all the derby. So, yeah, that was great to see. Obviously, Lincolnshire, a new team this year, so for them to get the win in that derby game was pretty big for them, really.
Yeah, I know they were looking forward to playing them at some point. Who would you consider your local rivals then, Jamie?
In the Midlands Premier, it'd probably be Leamington.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Yeah.
Battle of the middle class.
I love it. Okay, next one.
Coventry Bears celebrated 25 years of the club this week. They took on Birmingham Bulldogs. They picked up the victory, 36 points to 30. Again, over 100 people turned up. Really good crowd. They had a lot of ex-players turn up as well to support the event. Their kit this year is modelled on I think it's the first kit that they had. It's a very similar design. So just great story, really, about Coventry Bears. They've done a lot for rugby league in the Midlands, and it's great to see them going strong. Yeah,
and interesting that they took on Birmingham, which I think is the oldest club. I think we established that Birmingham Bulldogs like the oldest club in the Midlands. So to have their 25-year anniversary against them, that's good.
Tackle 3 then. This one for you, really, Craig. The Masters game took place. The first Midlands Masters game took place. I believe it's the first game this year anyway. Took place in Telford. So Telford started up the first Masters team, and it was all in aid of cancer research. Craig, you played in it. How did you find it?
I found it an absolute lungbuster. I don't know what I thought it was going to, I just thought it was going to be like that, like a bit of progression from touch, but it's not. There's still some big contact. In fact, one of the first tackles, everybody just went, oh shit, what have we done, I was even talking to a lad before, and he was saying, I'm playing Masters because I can't play sort of first team rugby because I just can't risk getting injured, because of work. Turns out he broke his hand during the game, which, but it was great. It was great fun. I absolutely loved it. I was a bit appalled by some of the pictures afterwards, though. I looked at the pictures and I was like, who's this little fat old man? And it turns out it's me. It turns out it's me. So that sparked a new fitness regime for me. Yeah. But it was great. And it was great, to raise a decent bit of money. It was a good cause. One of the guys playing who actually took the massive hit right at the start, pure entertainment. He, is a loved one of his, passed away with cancer recently, and it was raising money for cancer research, in memory of her. So, it was great event.
Yeah, good club event, wasn't it? Really successful. Tackle 4 then. Leeds Rhinos have lifted the first silverware of the year, Craig. Hey.
Get on.
So the women's team won the Nines Festival this week, beating Wigan 21 points to 8. I think this women's Nines Festival has been quite successful, actually, because they got a lot of the amateur clubs involved as well in the earlier rounds before they got to this final. Leamington took part in it. Their women's team took part in it. It's been a successful event. Jamie, any thoughts of starting a women's team in Oxford? Is that on the card? You've already got one?
We came, we saw, we conquered, and we went home. No, we started women's 3-4 years ago, and we went into sort of like a merits, or we'll go round and gauge where we are in terms of our matchup sort of thing. And we ended up playing Women's Super League South. We went and played Bedford, we win.
Yeah.
Great, we've got a team, let's go into Super League South. And it was a baptism of fire. We went 104-0 down, then we went 114-0 down, then we went 60-0 down. So we started to come down, and we played our last game against Bristol. We lost by 2. So we saw that as we're on the progression. We're not losing by so much. That was the end of the season. And then come the next season, I think the world woke up at that point after COVID, and we saw too much competition. So your Rugby Union County was back, your Sevens were back, your tag rugby through the summer was back. So too much market space was taken up by too much other activity, and it just dropped. We ended up with sort of like the start of this year, 6, and then they said, oh, well, I'm going to go and play county, so then down to 3, and it's like, well, there's only so much we can flog this before it gets a bit too much. So we've done it. We've had some success. We've had some failure. We've had some growth. We've had some shift. Would we do it again? Yeah, of course we are. Open door. The women, what we have at Cavs is women can always train with the men. So if you've got 3 girls and there's 20 blokes, we'll just chuck them in and just put them up, play hooker. Do something like that. So anyone's welcome, but there's just not enough women for us to go, let's go into a league. So what we did do, so you mentioned Leamington going to the Nines, we with 3 of our Cavs girls from last year were in that squad, and then they got shipped out to Telford.
Okay.
So there we are, full story of the women.
Oh, there we go then.
Yeah, I mean, even if we can just keep hold of a couple of them, keep them interested, who knows what's on the horizon,
Yeah, that's what we've done. We just, the festival dates that you guys have got, all of our women that are active, we've given them. And so they're going to go out and have a go. So.
So the women's Midlands Super League's changed a little bit this year. So initially they had set out fixtures. I think they've done away with that a little bit, haven't they? Yeah. And they've sort of merged them into like mini festivals like they do with the juniors, just to make sure that everybody's getting game time and everybody's playing. And hopefully that'll be a successful route into a full league next year, hopefully.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't, as long as if they do the same again,
as long as
people can still get in, can't they?
As long as there's enough interest and there's enough games going around every season, it's a win-win, isn't it, really? Right, tackle 5 then, over to the other side of the world. Newtown Jets are in talks to join the NRL again after 40 years absence out of the top flight. So they're looking to become the 18th club in the NRL. Just thought it was a bit of an interesting one. The NRL, the big monster that it is still looking to expand. I know they've talked about teams in PNG and stuff like that. So, we'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes, really.
So there's obviously like a bidding process to get in then. It's not done on kind of you win the league, and you're promoted.
It's a closed shop, isn't it, the NRL? It's they're essentially franchise teams, aren't they? So it's, bidding and all the rest of it. Murky world to get into it. They're in the running. Tackle 6 then, you touched on this earlier, Craig. So Sherwood Wolf Hunt hosted a junior festival this weekend. And again, another junior festival in the Midlands that's been an absolute success. They reckon about 500 people were there. 260 kids took part in this festival. Just great to see rugby league in sort of Nottinghamshire, Mansfield, that sort of area. Teams came down from Bassett Law. Just that sort of side of the Midlands just really thriving at the junior level. Fantastic, really. That wraps it up then for the set of 6. I've just got a tweet of the week this week.
Oh, nice.
I've thrown one in. So Los Angeles Mongrel, a new sort of side competing in the USA. They've hit 3,000 followers on Twitter, which is... I'd like to know whoever does their marketing, because that's a massive start.
Yeah, it's a monumental...
And if you see any of their graphics, head and tail above anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to search them out.
Above professional teams and everything.
Have you seen Canada Whistler Wolves?
No.
Have you seen theirs?
No.
I want to go on holiday. I want to go to Whistler Wolves and just watch a game. Their social media, the pictures where they play, they're in the middle of the mountains on top of a hill. It's epic. It's exactly the same as it's West Coast of America.
Yeah.
What they're doing down there. It's good.
Cool.
That wraps it up then.
Yeah, and we was interesting talking about the festivals and everything that's going on really well. Jamie and I was talking before the podcast started, and he was sort of saying, people are expanding. There is growth. Stuff is going on. We just don't know about it.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a call out, really. if you've got news to share, stuff going on, then please let us know, and we'll include it on the show, and maybe even try and get a roving reporter down there to have a look or whatever. But let us know. And if you haven't done so already, you can also help spread that news by liking, commenting, subscribing, and all that kind of stuff. And I just realised we don't really ask people to subscribe, and we just expect people to do it. But we should, because there's a lot of you fuckers like voyeurs, not subscribing. So subscribe, it does help. Okay, great. Jamie, over to you now. So we've done our 6 tackles. Now we kind of hand over to you, really. And I'm really keen just to hear about how you got involved in rugby league before we then talk about Oxford Cavaliers.
So my journey was 16 years old. I started playing rugby at 14 for rugby union and played pretty good level of youth rugby, but I wasn't particularly good. I was just surrounded by people that were. And a couple of the better lads at 15, 16, especially at 16, they said, we're going to go and play league. And it turned out that helped me a lot. Like they were saying, come along, you'll get better at carrying, you'll get better at tackling. You'll use the big boys. I was a bit of a man child, didn't really know how to use it. And going into league, I was like, right, so I carry once and I could have a rest for 5 minutes. I'll make a tackle, or I'll look good doing that, and then I can do another carry, and then I can come off, and then 10 minutes later I can come back on. So really early on, I've sort of realised that that's probably where I'm better suited, and waiting for the union season to finish so that the lads that I was playing with, they go back and play rugby league, and I could go and join in, and I could sort of like feel like a peer rather than not so well developed as a union player. When I was playing league with them, it was, well, I'm just as good now. We can have a laugh doing this together. And that took me through to sort of like 19, 20, and then settled down. We met my partner, had a baby, took a step away, had another baby, and then as soon as the kids sort of like got walking, straight back into rugby league. Cavs at the time were a 1-club team that were looking to get a little bit more of development going on, starting with the youth stuff. So then, as well as playing a little bit, it was more shifting towards coaching the younger kids, the 12s and the 14s, and coming through there, and haven't looked back. I don't hardly play at all. I played a little bit against Leamington last year. It was quite embarrassing, really. But the coaching side of it and the running of a club sort of that, I really enjoy. It's something that gives me a lot.
Yeah.
Probably takes up too much time. Wife's not particularly happy Monday to Saturday. But we get by.
What is it you see in the kids that what do they take from rugby league?
What we have at Cavs is kids that play union. We don't have too many new to sport. They're transitioning from rugby union to rugby league, and you can see them straight away get it 'cause it's simpler. Yeah. So if we just do catch, carry, grip, and we do tackle, we do lines of running and stuff like that. They understand the rules pretty quickly, and the game doesn't stop there. There isn't the rucks and all that sort of stuff. So they develop quickly, and they know they develop quickly because they get better over 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and then they go back and they go and see their friends at a different club because they're in Oxford. They're all playing each other through the winter. So they go away and they bond again, and then they come back in and they're a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and now that line of running gets a little bit more confident, exactly like what I was when I was 15, 16. So I see like the development that I went through, I see through the kids now, and it's quite exciting. Yeah. You see, we've got a couple of, Gassi that was playing on Saturday. He's been with me since he was 12. And his younger brother that was on the wing, he's been with me since he was 10.
Which one's Gassi? Do you have ginger hair, did he?
No,
he was the ginger hair lad.
Gassi,
he was really putting himself about.
The prop, black fella prop. And his brother was the wing.
It's on the wing.
The one that talked a lot.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, we had a few chats in with
You were running forward, he was walking back.
Yeah.
Just to put that into context, so Telford Raiders, including Karl, played Oxford Cavaliers this weekend. So you might have a talk about that later on. So that's what that's about.
Yeah.
But you did have, anyway, without getting sidetracked too much, there was one lad, the ginger-haired lad, and he just absolutely put him, there was nothing to him. He just young lad, bit of skin, and he just put himself about. It was really good watching him.
They were doing 2 drives a set at one point.
He was. That's what I mean.
Young Leon.
Yeah.
So Leon came through the same age group as Gassi, and Leon plays a year up. So all through his youth rugby, he was playing a year up, and at Cavs. And if he watches this, he'll kill me for saying it, but he was getting a little bit emotional when he was playing. He had to come and stand with me. He was just crying his eyes out because he couldn't stop these big fellas like Gassi.
Yeah.
And now, 5 years later on, or 6
Yeah, he's
years
mixing it
later
with
on,
blokes,
he's just mincing everyone.
It's like, made of granite or something.
So a little bit about those. So Leon's got a younger brother, and again, he was playing a year round, but Eddie's he got selected through some trial stuff, and now he's on scholarship at Broncos. So we don't see Eddie anymore. But hopefully, we don't want to see him again because that means he's kicked on. But if he doesn't, then we're going to have two absolute slayers.
Yeah, brilliant.
We're going to come play some community open age, which would be. That's what we like to see.
Yeah.
Just looking at the Oxford Cavaliers, then, I mean, what do you know about the history? I mean, they've been going. I mean, I remember playing Oxford Cavaliers years ago when I played at Somerset, and so I know they've been around a long time.
So
Carl's laughing because he fucking reckons I've played for every club in the world. But I haven't.
Well, I've been that. Yeah, Somerset was a tough day at the office when we used to go down there. Yeah. Yeah, there was a big prop Sonny down there. He made mincemeat me a few times. But Oxford Cavaliers, they've been going since '96, and that was with expansion in mind. So the person that set Oxford Cavaliers, that was a bloke called Lionel Hurst, and he was out of the city. He come up to Oxford, right, we're going to get rugby league going on, because he was involved at Broncos, come up, and he kick-started Oxford Cavaliers, got them going, and I'm a bit like what all clubs around here are doing. We're looking at the services. We're going, like the RAF were quite influential in getting camps going. And they sort of like snowballed that, got into the community, got some lads playing from the rugby union clubs. And now I would almost say that Cavs is sort of like standalone. They obviously do pull in from the union clubs, but it's through want, not we go knocking saying, give us all the union players. And from Lionel setting that up, it then went to another venue with a different chairman. Lionel went, I don't know if he took a break or whatever it was, he'd done something, but he then set up Gloucester All Goals that then become Bristol All Goals. So Lionel's on this quest to expand rugby league. He wants rugby league to work. It wouldn't surprise me if he stops in Swansea somewhere and gets another one going there. But Lionel was the founder of it, 1996. The club settled in, got going, and Stuart, the previous chairman to the one we have now, he was the one that sort of went, we need to not be a one club team, we need to expand, get the youth going, get the women going, and that's where I come back to the club, and that's where we sit today. Really, we got a new board, a completely new board of some really, really good people, level-headed, that keep the club afloat and keep what is an insane world of rugby league quite calm. It's
one of the challenges that you face is I think Oxford, you're kind of located just a little bit too far from everybody, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've moved leagues a couple of times, haven't you?
Yeah. So when I started, so I was playing at 16, 17, we were actually up here. We were playing like Redditch Ravens and Wolverhampton Wizards, Coventry, and like Telford. And then we went into West of England League. And that was at the time, it was a really, really good league. We had Swindon, Bath, Bristol Sonics, Somerset, and the likes. And that was really good for us. And it worked geographically. Yeah. It was a straight run sort of west. You just get out on the M4. You can go down the M5, but everything's pretty close. The reason we come back into the Midlands is because we sort of clubbed hopped. We've never found routes that gave us everything we needed, and we were just trying to put pieces in holes, if you know what I mean. And we ended up, over a period of, say, 5-6 years, especially through COVID, we'd done a fair bit of moving around, just one, to keep the club going, and two, just to try and find our way again. And we've ended up, as I was saying to Craig before, we've ended up where we started when I first started playing. So it's sort of like gone full circle again, but we're on a real solid ground at the minute. We're just trying to build everything back up again post-COVID. But going back to the question about the challenges we have of where we are is we're in an ultra-competitive union sort of catchment. There's some seriously good rugby union clubs with some seriously good talent around. And some of them play for us, but trying to persuade more people to play, that's where you naturally go. But trying to convince them not to go and play sevens, not to go and do county and come and play league is a bit of a challenge. From the seniors' point of view, at least. Yeah. Kids' level's a little bit different.
And what sort of relationship do you have with the union clubs around you?
Good
relationship, yeah.
Good relationship. we play out of a union club, and they're supportive of us. Like the previous lads we've mentioned, they play at Oxford and they come over. What we find with a couple of the kids though, like we've had some talented kids come along, but again, where they're on their union DPP.
No, I don't know what that is.
So you'll play at Telford or you'll play at Bromsgrove, and then you'll not go to county, you'll go on to like a WASP's development programme or a Gloucester programme and stuff like that. So then that's another competitor that we have to sort of try and not compete with, but offer an alternative once that finishes, and then it's all about how much rest do my kids need. And
so what do you think Rugby League needs to do then to be keeping hold of those players, like when they finish playing for Oxford? Because obviously we want to develop the leagues, don't we? We want to make it stronger. Am I right in thinking you're heading up the Midlands side this year?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're looking to do. Well, there's be some comms going out in July with that.
Yeah.
Aiming to kick that off, and 4 weekends in September, playing at Hemel at the end in that carnival.
Yeah.
That'll be my first go doing that, so it's quite enjoyable. I'm looking forward to that. What would the answer be in keeping those people in? I would say we need, as a sport, to capture them younger.
Right.
So we noticed that when we got them at 12, they're staying, and they're not that they're not playing rugby union, but they're definitely committed. It's not an ask, it's a no, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And one thing we want to do, and I know a couple of the guys that have been on before, they're pushing the toddler stuff and getting them playing, and it doesn't even need to be rugby league at that point, but as long as they have got a familiarisation, I go here to have fun at 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at 6, 7, 8, 9, I'm here to play rugby league. When it gets to 16, 17, that's a big drop off, isn't it? 16, 17. It doesn't matter what you're doing, everyone finds life, and it gets a little bit challenging. But
find women.
Yeah. And almost, like I said, we're brainwashing them, but that's what footballers do, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's clubs out there that are starting them kicking the ball at 2 years old and contracting them to a club at 10.
Yeah.
It's madness, isn't it? But that's the world that you're playing in. You want to get those kids younger.
Yeah, you want to get they're developing an identity as a person, and what we want is people to identify as being rugby league players instead of like, well, I'm a rugby union player, but this summer I'm playing league. You know what I mean? We want them. You cut them open, and through the middle it says rugby league. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
So, what would you say the milestones you're working towards as a club are at the minute? What's your sort of goals that you've set yourselves?
We want to keep going with our 14s and 16s and 12s because we see that as really important. And we want just to grow those numbers because they're going to be the lifeblood. They'll be what give us another 10 years of senior age rugby. In terms of the seniors, we just want to keep competing. We just want to keep... There were times, especially when I was playing, that you'd be scrabbling around, you'd go with 12, and we're still there now. So what I would consider a goal is that next year we can go to the 8 games we play and we've got 20 players.
Yeah.
You know, we saw how important that can be, especially when you're coming into a competitive game. And that's one thing I'd highlight about the Midlands Premier. It is competitive. It's the best I've seen it.
Yeah.
So as a milestone for the Open Age, that's what I'd like us to do. The club, I think, we would love to get the women back as well, as in doing what Leamington are doing in their 9s and Telford are doing with their 9s. If we can get to that in 2 years, that would be a big tick box for us.
Well, you're currently running pretty hot in the league. I think you're top of the league now, are you, at the minute? Or you're still top? No,
got knocked off.
All right. We'll get too far into that. However, if we dare think Oxford win the league, do you think that would help to build the squad and strengthen the squad next year?
Of course. Yeah. It attracts, doesn't it? Success attracts success. And we've been unfortunate in that we've lost a couple of retention players that we would have thought we'd have had. They went really well in county and they...
Yeah, good luck to them, but it's a shame, yeah.
But it happens. But those good union clubs, they'll go, hold on a minute, they're flying high. Let's, rather than going and running our Broncos every week, we'll go and do rugby league and hopefully we can convert them over a season and they'll come back. That's kind of where we see some of the senior stuff coming from.
Yeah. Just going back to what do you know about creating the name and where the name came from? Do you know anything about the history there or?
With the Cavaliers, I dare say it's something probably along the lines of the Civil War.
Yeah.
Because that's where the inspiration for West Oxford Levellers come in.
Well,
There's a
can you
saying-
just
Yeah,
give a bit of a
show us that,
a
yeah.
bit of a rundown on the
So-
different clubs and that?
Oh, well, the rundown. So this is West Oxfordshire Levellers. They were formed, let's say 3 years ago. They're a very sort of like new team to the area, but with some solid knowledge there. So the guy that set that up was the guy that set up the youth at Oxford. The coaches there are the players that I had when they were 15. They've all done their level 2, so they're on good ground as well. But they're predominantly youth stuff at the minute. They have got some senior stuff, but they're doing the cross league, the X League stuff, and they do the Grand Prix and that. So they're working towards becoming an established community club, but they're at the start of their journey.
That's really key, isn't it? Because then all of a sudden you've got competitors on your doorstep, haven't you?
Well, yeah.
You know,
So we've just come off the back of a festival and we played Levellers. So the under-14s played Levellers 2 weeks ago, won, and then we drew this weekend. But last year they thumped us. So it's at least, again, it's competitive sport for them.
There's the birth of another derby there.
there isn't there?
That'd get you, wouldn't it? So, but no, there's another derby. They've got Oxford Brookes Uni and Oxford University. They have a derby every year. They run, the Oxford University run 2 men's team and a ladies team. Oxford Brookes run a men's team, and they're all in the Bucks competition. So there's plenty of derbies going around.
There's plenty of rugby league going on in Oxford then, isn't there, really?
Yeah, there is, yeah. We'd like to see, I'd like to see the university, the women's stuff pick up, because I reckon that could go really well. So me and my coaching partner, Matt, we run the women's side of Oxford University, and they've done really, really well. So we didn't run them, this is our first year, they've been going 2. And I'd like to see them have 2 teams like the men. And I'd like to see Brookes have a women's team and work to having 2 women's teams and 2 men's teams. And then hopefully you'll see more filter out.
Yeah.
Would be the aim. And capture them in community and see what we can do from there.
Well, how would you describe like the culture that you've got in the men's team now? Do they tend to stick around, have a pint? Do they enjoy a pint and a bit of a social, or?
When we're at home, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a few jars to be had.
Yeah, I could see a little bit of evil in your eye then when I was like...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, trying to stick around on away days is tough. It doesn't matter what, if you're in the west of England or the Midlands. It's a long way to travel. So to be able to do the sharing of drinks is probably hard. But when we're at home, we do like to stick about. We... again, it's quite tough because we've got people coming from all over Oxford. It's quite a big county. But yeah, there is... And dare I say, because I've gone over 30 now, because the team are quite young, they're quite keen on having a few jars. So, we've got our end of season 2 on the end of July, and that's the one I'm going to stick around for. See if I can keep up with the young pups and have some fun.
What have you got planned for that?
Not sure. I'm not going to be in charge of organising it. It's going to be the senior group are going to go away. But what we're going to do, we're going to have all the kids come back and all the sponsors come in, and we'll do it all together as a club. So if you're under 12 or you're a senior men, you're all going to get your awards together. So just try and create that one club mentality. Yeah,
I've just noticed, like I remember when we first started the podcast, everyone talking about the start of the season. Now our guests are starting to talk about end of season and what they're going to do. And yeah, it's quite interesting. What I think Staffordshire last week, they were like, we're having something that's not even rugby related. We're going to just do something where we just break away and do something slightly different. So I'm
going to jump in here actually and sort of announce something really.
Here we go.
So we
not getting married, are you?
No. We sort of spoke about it at the start of the year, didn't we? About we should have some sort of Central Midlands awards due. I'm in the process of setting that up at the minute. So I want to get all the teams in the Midlands. It's probably going to be based at the Alexander Stadium for obvious reasons. The Hurricanes are going to sort of head it up. We're going to have a guest speaker. We're going to have Super League players, hopefully on each table. Compare, have a sort of set of awards for sort of like Hurricane senior team, and then we're going to have community awards as well. So like, unsung heroes around the Midlands and that sort of thing, and I want to get all the teams involved. So that's something I'm working on, which I thought I'd put out there because I want all the teams in the Midlands to be involved East Midlands, West Midlands. Oxford,
So what would you
everywhere.
expect? Just like anyone that's been nominated for award, plus a few reps from a club, or the whole club to kind of descend on?
Well, we'll have to see what sort of interest we can got with numbers and how many we can fit in the room. So it might be each team gets a couple of tables, and they'll have to decide how they want to do. And I want people to be able to vote on certain awards. So you can vote for, I don't know, community volunteer of the year, but you're not allowed to vote for anybody at your own team or something like that, and see how it goes. But I think it'd be great for us to all get together.
What about little fat aging Masters Player of the Year? So I think I might nominate myself for that.
Best social media page.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll get
yeah, that'd be a great one. Yeah,
Midlands podcast of the year.
I want to embarrass myself. No, that's good. That's great. Right, where do we go from here?
Is there anybody else at the club who sort of helped push the club forward that you want to give a shout out to or a mention?
Oh, massive. Anyone that's at Cavs we're all sort of punching in the same direction.
Yeah.
We all want everyone to come in and love Cavs and love rugby league and everyone. But the board especially, so our last chairman, who is a gentleman called Stuart, he was the one that sort of put us on a platform where we want to go. So he needs a mention, because without him, we wouldn't have probably stepped in the direction of having the youth stuff. John, who is now the chairman at Oxford, he would be the next in line to be thanked. And then the board that are there now are trying to control that explosion of all the youth and the women and the men, and trying to pick up and carry on. So Simon, Sean and Nikki, who are the chair, vice chair and accountant, they're the ones that are sort of keeping the ship steady and making sure that I don't go off on a tangent and start doing things I probably shouldn't more. So yeah, big thanks to those guys.
Right, Jamie, so the Midlands rep team's also coming back this year. You're going to be involved in that. Tell us a little bit about it. What can players expect that are currently playing in the Midlands League? What's going to be going on at the end of the year?
Yeah, so when the season sort of like comes to an end, we play our finals, play Harry Jepson and our Premier final. We're then going to go hopefully to Nottingham, and we're going to go for 3 sessions through the 3 weekends in September. 2 of them should be open for trials, and the third one would be we've selected our finest.
Yeah,
and we'll go through one sort of like captain's run, and then on the final weekend we'll head down to Hemel, and we'll play a regional carnival, with the hope that all of those teams, at least some, will get represented in Southern England Lionhearts and stuff like that. So it's just another stepping stone in sort of developing those players that can be England community Lions and so forth.
And where are you picking the players from? Is it Midlands Premier?
Midlands Premier I say the Midlands Premier. The Midlands Rugby League is what we're after.
As in general. Yeah. So you're including sort of Nottingham Outlaws and your Sherwood Wolfers, the teams that are all playing up north and that as well.
Yeah, we're not going to exclude.
Yeah, all the teams in the Premier, all the teams Merit League even.
Yeah, I mean, that Merit League will undoubtedly have some diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, I would have thought definitely.
Yeah. And we just want to get them out there and just see what can happen with them, and then go down to the carnival, hopefully show ourselves well, and then hopefully a few of those guys will get to wear.
What is the carnival then? What's going on down there? Is it?
So it'll be the Midlands, South East, South West, South teams.
Well, they're all going to play on one weekend, or
don't quote me on the date yet. I think it's the last weekend in September. Will be the carnival date, and then that'll kick on into West of England and Southern England.
So is there a strip? Have they already got a?
There is one in the pipeline.
Oh, right, okay. So it's a brand new strip.
Yeah.
So who's kind of kicked this on again then? How did it all spark off?
But I sort of fell on it through an email. That's the genuine truth. An email come through saying, "Is there anyone who would be interested in leading the Midlands rep stuff? Send a CV into this person." So I sent a CV into this person, didn't hear anything back, thought nothing of it. Yeah. And a gentleman called Mark Cleaver, congratulations, mate, you got the... Sorry, mate, I haven't got any. He went, yeah, you have. Here's who's helping and here's doing what. And so, all right, perfect. And then that got the ball rolling. But we got Jim from Boston, I think, and Sean Spudworth. He was at...
Oh, yeah. Sean, yeah. People have been on the podcast.
Yeah. Martin.
Yeah.
Himself.
Foskett, yeah.
Yeah. So... all familiar people, So we just want to get round the table, get everything all logged, get Nottingham confirmed. And once everything's done like that, we've got a website primed, we've got bios ready to rock and roll. So once that's all confirmed, all the clubs in the Midlands should be getting something through email.
Like an invite or something.
Yeah. So what we're going to ask to do is any player comes along, they fill out a questionnaire of what positions you want to play, what's your experience like, where have you played, what are you doing, and what's your commitment like through these 3 weekends? Because we're not expecting everyone to make those 3 weekends. If you can make 2, we'll pick from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that people have a route to progress on, and I think when we talk about create someone's identity as like rugby league is part of their identity to go on and play rep rugby. Like some of them will never do that rugby union, what I mean? But some of them have got a great chance in rugby league, So it's I think it's really important.
Well, it is what I was saying about the kids when they leave us and they go into the rugby union community and they go around and see each other. We have that with past players. So Garen, who's our coach, and
I met Garen at the weekend. Yeah,
so he played Southern England Lionhearts and went and played against Wales. But through doing that, and now he's on the Wales student program, he can go around. He sees people at Leamington. There's a player from Scotland that's training at Oxford at the minute. So they're starting to get that community. Although they've got their own identity, I'm going to go play for Scotland, I'm going to go play for Wales, I'm going to go play for England. They're all in the community having a laugh and playing rugby league. Well, that's what we want, right? As community clubs, that's what we want to see kids and adults do.
Just, I noticed on the shirt there's no sponsor on the shirt. Do you have a club sponsor? And if so, do you want to tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, we've got a few. Yeah, we've got, it's the wrong shirt to bring, really. But we've got CK Roofing, we've got React Engineering, and we've got APS, which are a sports car sort of service team. And they've been really, really good to us. Really good to us. And what we've tried to do is, with our sponsorship, we had 4 areas. So as a board, we have 4 areas. So I looked after the women, Simon looked after the youth, Sean looked after the men. Same with the sponsors. So although you're on all of the shirts, you've all got a primary function within your club. So React were looking after the ladies, CK Roofing looked after the men, APS looked after the youth. And so they all got, when they come to the club, we're like, oh yeah, we're part of the club, but that's what we're proud of. And we can hang our head on the youth or the women or the men. So, and we're really grateful for it because the club wouldn't survive without them.
No. Have you found any tactics to bringing sponsors in? Because that's always a difficult part of it, running any club, isn't it?
No tact, just loads of luck.
Just getting out there.
Yeah, so React is through right? So where I'd done my apprenticeship, he was my boss, and I've gone back to him and I said, Neil, would you kindly? Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that for you, no problem. CK Roofing, he was my first rugby union coach. So, CK, would you mind doing this for us? Yeah, absolutely. And one of the kids' parents is Nathan, who runs APS. He was like, yeah, absolutely. So we got lucky. Absolutely. We tried going looking a couple of years ago around all like the big companies in Oxford, but it's a corporate world and I can't do that, but I can't try and sell. It's not what I'm good at, so just go. I
suppose there's a little lesson to be learnt there, isn't there? If you ever leave a job, make sure you don't burn your bridges when you leave.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, you never know when you might be going back round and asking for a bit of help. Yeah.
And do you have like structured sponsorship packages, or we just say, look, what can you give us, and this is what we'll do in exchange? Or
what we've done is we've just been really honest and said, look, this is what we need money for. So one year it was we wanted to get 2 level 2 coaches, but we needed the rent and we needed some kit. That comes to a total of this. If you 3 are willing to help us, this is what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
And the club will try our best. And if we can meet you halfway, we will. And if not, so it might be that it's £1,000. Typically, it's around £800 to £1,000 each is what they've.
But it's sizable some lives.
If they're all doing £1,000 each, it's £3,000. We can pay rent. We can get kit supply. We can get medic stuff. We can get coaches qualified. We can, it's freedom to move a little bit. If you know what I mean, we're not caught up in the money trap of clubs failing because there isn't any.
Yeah. So and just on kit, I mean, because you had I thought it was a stunning kit at the weekend. The white
hard
kit.
To keep clean.
Yeah, I can imagine. we spoke about it, like who would have a white kit, and it looks great on the pitch, but Jesus, it must be hard to keep clean.
So all of the kits are white. So if you're under 14, under 16, seeing those women, it's all white and it's a pain.
Right.
It's a good job we're playing the summer, really.
Well,
Not
yeah,
in the middle of the
yeah.
winter, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest, it escapes me who came up with the design. It's a nice design. I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
The reason they were red is because we needed when we were out on festival days and things like that. We needed find the person in the red top.
Yeah.
With Oxford Cavaliers written on the back of it. If he don't know it, you don't need to know it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the white kit has been an eye catcher. People do like it. Yeah.
And how often do you change the kit? Like just
you guys know, like the strips now, they are a better makeup, aren't they? But so typically 2-3 years is good. If you can get 4 years out of a kit, you've done really, really well.
before they start going missing or they're getting ripped or cut off.
Exactly that.
In some cases,
exactly that.
Yeah.
And then that just makes the conversation when you go back to sponsors going, well, I've just bought you a kit. Why do you want to know it for? So we do try and look after it. And the expectation is that every 3 years you should probably... Kids, more so, because they only play 6-7 games. So.
Who, if you look at, cast your eye over the team sheet now, what players at Oxford are exciting you, or do you think have got bright futures ahead of them?
Leon Atherton, Loic, Gassy. He's a young lad, Gassy's a young lad. He's 19, just coming out of uni. I reckon if we could get some development into him, he'd go far. Leon, again, I think he would be really, really special. Loic, who was the half, put a shoulder out, and he's a decent player. So we're looking for. There's some guys that are probably towards the back end. If we'd have had them 5 years ago, I reckon they would have kicked on. Seriously kicked on.
Yeah.
There's a fullback that you might have played against him last year, but he was some serious talent. But we've had serious talent come through the club before. We've had before my involvement, the Griffin brothers were at Cavs. So Darryl, George, Josh. Well, Darryl definitely came through the youth system.
Yeah.
The women have had some. When the women were good, we had Alex Barnes. She was at Leeds Rhinos, won the Stanley Cup Grand Final. Cass, who's played for England, she played a few games for us at the start. So we're good at getting talent in and pushing them on if we can. But we would like to push our 16s and see if we can get them into like a Midlands Hurricanes sort of setup.
That's the next step. That's the next step for everybody in the Midlands. Yeah. Getting this junior academy developed, that everybody can feed into. That's definitely the next step.
No, I think one of the buzzwords I'm hearing a lot of. So we were at a festival on Sunday.
Yeah,
it was a West of England festival. It's not well as attended as the Midlands one up at Sherwood was, but we had 5 teams there. We had Cheltenham, Bristol, Swindon, West Oxford Levellers and Oxford Cavs. And they were saying joined up thinking is what gets these things going.
Yeah.
So it's only going to take a couple of people to go, right, let's get a Midlands Origin series up. You mentioned it, East-West.
Yeah.
Derbies. Let's get an East versus West at under 14s, under 16s, or an open age thing, whatever it might be. Something that just elevates players and keeps them chomping, keeps them coming back and going, right, this year I'm definitely going to be playing in the rep squad, whatever it might be. So
I'd just like to put sort of a shout out where you just mentioned a couple of teams there. So Bristol, Cheltenham, they're a little bit just off our radar a little bit out there. So if there's anybody from those teams that are listening, we'd love for them to get in touch as well, and we'd love to have them on and keep spreading the news really.
Well, I mean, there's some good rugby down there. Swindon was strong at the weekend. Bristol was serious. They eventually won it under 14s, but there was a lot of talent out there. And obviously Bristol All Golds are kicking on, doing their thing. It's NCL they play, I think.
Yeah, national comp. Yeah, I think they
in
are.
and out of London every weekend. Not for me.
Yeah. So looking to the rest of the season, is there any games you're particularly looking forward to or excited by?
Yeah, all of them.
Right.
All of them, because they're all really, really competitive games. I mean, our score was a little bit of a blowout, wasn't it? Towards the end, I think it ended up 26-6, but up to 70 minutes, it was 14-6. We could have got one and it'd have been really interesting.
Yeah.
Every game is like that at the minute. There's no...
There haven't been any blowout scores, has there really?
So do I want to go to Birmingham, see if I can beat them? Yeah. Do we want to go to Leamington, see if we can... Yeah. There's not one game we go, Jesus, they're going to be a bit tough. Or, well, we're going to trounce them. you can't take anything for granted this year.
No.
And that's what makes it really good. And our senior team are looking forward to it. They're like, yeah, we'll get stuck into them. Like we walked off the pitch Saturday after we lost, and we're like, right, we're going for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you could.
Any team in that league can win this year.
Yeah.
And
that's what
100% believe that.
Yeah, so we're really looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely really competitive. I mean, you called it before this evening started, didn't you? You sort of said, who knows? It's not a foregone conclusion at all, and so...
No, there's five very strong teams in that Midlands League this year, and I've been saying all year, who knows who's going to win it this year? It's going to be exciting to see who does come out on top.
I think, I remember watching... community rugby, and you'd kind of struggle to complete a set. Every team struggled to complete a set. You know what I mean? But now, like, sets just get completed. They work to the kick and they get the kick off, and it's definitely a mark of progress in the community game.
Yeah, the standard's really high this year. I don't know why it's gone up another notch, but it certainly has. You don't. You walk off a pitch now after playing, like me, 15 minutes,
and you know it,
and you're aching for the rest of the week. It's a like very, very competitive, hard game. Who knows who's going to win it this year?
No, and you got to think Telford are going to be in it. Birmingham, off the back of last year's win, they're probably going to go. We won it as well, so I think Coventry as well.
And then Leamington have got.
They took Coventry over, didn't they?
They've got a couple of point games in hand as well. So if they win them, they're actually top at league.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Neck and neck.
It's going to be right down to the wire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably on points by the end of the season.
Could well be, yeah.
So, just talk a little bit about your fan base. Do you get many supporters to the game, and do you get?
It could definitely be worked on.
Yeah,
it could be worked on. But and again, it's probably what you guys are doing here. You're lifting the profile of it. We're not we've been better this year, but historically, we're not very good at promoting Oxford Cavaliers in the community around Oxford where we are, because we're never there for too long. We kept moving.
That must be tough. You got no fixed aboard.
But we're hoping. Well, we probably said that a couple of times. We're hoping that this one will be the one for 5 years, but there's got to be some sense to it. We're back where we started to a point. So we'd like to think that if we can call that home for the next 10 years, and more people come into the club and they bring their friends and mums and dads and sisters and brothers, then we would get a good fan base. But nothing like what you had at the weekend. That was quite proud.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
Well, I think there was the Masters game before, and I think this is what Karl, you've pushed quite hard actually this year, is like making a club day, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there was a few things that led to that, like good numbers. So there was the Masters charity game at the start, then it was very competitive seniors game, then the Telford lads had a night out planned, didn't they?
Fancy dress.
I didn't get invited, never do, but anyway, I'm not bitter. Fancy dress, was it? I thought that was their actual clothes.
Well, they had £10 to spend.
Oh, is this what it was?
They had to go to a charity shop.
Yeah, and come
buy an outfit, and then what change they had then went towards the charity. Yeah.
All right.
What they did. So
so there was loads to make that day like quite busy. You know what I mean? I think they got a bouncy castle in as well, didn't they, for the kids? And it seemed to work. I don't know. Any idea how many was there?
No, but it was well over 100, wasn't there? Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I think making them sort of double headers as well, if you can.
Yeah, we've done.
If you can get it in, it definitely works.
Especially the kids
with you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get an under 14s game on before a game. That's always been quite a good thing to do. We've had it with the ladies before. Ladies will play before the men. We had that. There's another one. Bath ladies were really good.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they were sensational. But we had a to and fro there. We went to there. They had a really good crowd. So. We want to do that because that helps with other things, doesn't it? It helps commercially for a start.
Yeah.
Jamie, apart from everything else we've said, is there anything about either the regional sort of rep side or Oxford Cavaliers, senior youth or whatever, that's quite interesting news, things that we haven't asked you that you'd kind of like to share?
Not for, I think we covered everything Oxford Cavaliers, but one thing to mention from the university, The men's university team are off to Poland, and they're going to go and play the national team.
How long are they going out there for then?
I think they're going to go for a week, and it's this summer. In the next couple of weeks, they'll be heading out there, and they'll be off to play the national team out there. And they've done some really good stuff. They've been on some serious tours before, so they're good at promoting the game, and they love their rugby. So I wish them well. I hope they get a win. That'd be good for them.
So they're saying they're playing the national team, are they?
Yeah. And the name escapes me, but they played a presidential 13 the last time they went out, and that was a good game as well. So they're doing their bit to spread the rugby league world in and around the place. And actually, the women's team, they got invited to Brazil for next year. So there's plenty of that going on at the university. Levellers, they want to see if they can get a ground of their own, is what they're after. They reckon that if they can sort somewhere out that they can call home, because they currently play out of school, that they're going to kick on, which will be good for them.
Do they have a clubhouse then?
No, they're playing out of school. They a lot of teams do it, and when they go to a pub and they have a function room and they go there, and it works for them. So at the minute, but I think that's probably their next step. But Cavs just want to keep growing.
I mean, that's a big beast, isn't it? Getting your own ground. You know, and it's no mean feat. Like,
what would it cost? I mean, it would cost an absolute arm and a leg, wouldn't it, to find yourself a pitch somewhere and build yourself a clubhouse?
So
we had that. Cavs had that a couple of years ago, just before COVID. We had a village green. It was a cricket club. It was a football club. It was something, but not used for years. And we managed to secure a couple of years there, and that worked to a point and then stopped working. So then we went on the merry-go-round and finding somewhere else to go. But while we were there, it was good. And I think once you've got something that's yours and you can make it what you want, you're not dictated to by other sports and other people's agendas of what they're doing and weddings and birthdays and christenings and all that sort of stuff, then you can really run away with it, and it can be quite good.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our extra time golden point question. This question was set by Martin and Matt from the Staffordshire Quantums last week, so we're just going to play a little clip of that now.
Well, I guess, which in that World Cup, this is like a trivia question then. So which former Australia player was playing for, and maybe it might have been a couple of, but which former Australia player was playing for Italy in that World Cup doubleheader opener in the
one at the Wales and England World Cup, the one in Cardiff. What year was that?
20. Anyway, it's that one. And I think I know the answer to that one.
Right. I think I know the answer as well.
Who is it? Oxford, is it the next guest?
Yes, Oxford are our next guests.
Right, so we'll see if they... and have you got a forfeit if they don't get it?
Perhaps they have to sing some sort of silly song.
They started a thread here, aren't they?
I reckon the Hurricane song that I
Yeah. So they need to sing. They need to sing the Hurricane song that Matt invented, which is
become a chameleon.
If you go on the Midlands Hurricanes social media, you'll see that song, and I like to think that Oxford are following that, so they all know the lyrics of what's it called? Hurricanes.
Yes, we're scoring tries.
We need to talk about this. So the actual question was, which former Australian player played for Italy in the World Cup doubleheader in some year that they couldn't remember? Can you put a bit more around it?
It was the World Cup that was in Cardiff, wasn't it? The first game. So how many years back? I can't remember what year that is.
No, I can't.
But I think I know the answer.
Right.
Have they actually given us the answer?
No, he didn't. His actual words were, I think I know it.
I think, I'll put my flag up, James Tedesco.
Was it?
I think it's Elliot Minchella.
I thought it was Elliot Minchella, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The forfeit, they did say the forfeit was you had to sing the Midlands Hurricanes song. I don't know if you've seen that on social media.
They invented it, didn't
they? They invented it, and it's basically Hurricanes to the tune of Karma Chameleon.
Somewhat like that.
So it's like Hurricanes. What is it? They score some tries. I don't know what it is.
So, Martin, if you're watching, since you didn't give us the answer,
yeah,
do us one of your famous videos on social media and put the answer on after we put this clip up.
Yeah, let us know what you think it is. Okay, so from me, Jamie, it's been a great chat. It's absolutely flown by.
Thank you for having me.
I've really enjoyed chatting to you. As a bit of a look forward, we've got an interview with Roy Reeve coming up, so more details on that to follow, plus a few of the little bits and bobs that we've got to sort out. So thanks travelling all the way from Oxford. I'm sure it's some massive journey, but you're doing some good stuff this year, and it's going to be tough at the top. It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
And I'm sure we'll probably meet again at some point this season. The way it's looking,
I don't want to finish third if you finish top. I don't want to have to come back.
Is that how it works? So the third place,
so. I think
first,
so. Second v fourth,
second v fourth,
first and second.
The fourth play at the second, yeah.
I tell you what,
winners of those.
The most important thing is going to be getting home field advantage, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's massive. That is so.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah,
everyone's fighting it out for that first and second spot.
I think if you looked at the stats, one of the biggest factors in winning or losing is whether you're home or away. It's just that travel into.
Yeah.
So
that's been from
the
when
same.
I was that big. Yeah. It's if you can nick 2 on the road, you're going to be in a real good place.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Jamie.
Perfect.
From me.
Thank you for having me.
From me, it's been perfect, brilliant, and it's really good to get an insight into the Midlands rep stuff as well, which is what I'm looking forward to. It's great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
All right. So until the next episode, take care. That's the final whistle for this week's episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on social media and share this podcast with your friends. And as always, if you have a story to tell, a club to plug, or a player that deserves recognition, we want to hear from you. So until next time on the Rugby League Outsiders, take care.